Welcome to the Leedz Edutainment Podcast, featuring in-depth interviews with people in hip-hop culture, based out of New England. Leeds. All right, but I guess red is our color today, huh?
Yeah, no.
For the record, we are not Bloods.
Right?
Or maybe you are. Maybe you are. Are you?
Nah.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the Leedz Edutainment Podcast. Like us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, follow us on your streaming platform, all that stuff. Leave a comment, all that stuff helps. We got a very special guest today. West Coast to the East Coast, rapper, hustler, entrepreneur, Mr. Arichussettes.
How you doing, man?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Long overdue for a man that's been working as hard as you've been working.
I appreciate that.
It's been a while, man. I'm just getting my notes here together. We've been working together for a while now,
Yeah.
On all different types of things. We've, I think I met you through Matt, through
Yeah,
Problematic.
definitely. Through Problematic, yeah.
So you were doing shows with him, Suicide Squad, and we're going to get to all that. But before we get to that, you are originally born in, are you from Arizona?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Mesa, Arizona.
Mesa, Arizona. What's
Yeah.
that like?
It's way different than here.
How so?
It's just the culture is a lot different. Out there it's more Mexican than anything else. So I never really seen I never really met a Puerto Rican and Brazilian until I came out here. So it's a lot different in that aspects. There's a lot of gang banging and a lot of drugs and shit. Not that ain't here, but it's just I feel like it's on a bigger scale out west. So there's a lot more people. So
You say that, it's funny you bring that up because I booked a Nipsey Hussle tour,
Yep.
probably like 10 years ago. And he played Arizona, I believe. And some of them get shot outside the show.
At the show, yep.
Do you know about this?
Nah, I don't know. I was already 10 years ago. I was already out here. So
okay, so just so you know, that shooting at that show got our Boston show canceled.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
That's how serious that incident was.
Wow.
Yeah,
man.
And whatever was tied to that, Boston PD and whoever gang unit up here were shut the show down and shut the whole thing down. So I guess when you say stuff like that, when you say stuff like that, it makes sense to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So you also talk about being Mexican. Did you spend any time in Mexico?
Yeah, I actually used to get dumped off. I put it like that, dumped off.
Dumped off,
every my grandmother's house, we get dumped off every summer, anywhere from 1 week to maybe 6 weeks. So, and they'll leave you, and your parents will leave you, and they'll come back and get you whenever they're ready. And
they leave you at the border? Is that what it is?
No, they'll take you down to your grandmother's house. So it's a 7-hour trip where we go, but yeah, they'll leave you, stay the night, and then take off. And sometimes they'll leave a cousin. It'll be me and a cousin. But that pretty much happened from age 5 until probably 14. I want to say 13, 14. I want to say I was pretty much got dropped off down there.
So you fluent in Spanish?
I'm not I understand a lot more than I speak. I really don't like to speak it too much. I used to speak it a lot more, but coming up here, Puerto Rican, that's mostly what I hang out with out here. They speak a different Spanish. It's a lot quicker and the words are different. So it's kind of confusing. So yeah, I don't really say, if people ask, I just say no. But then they'll be surprised because they'll say something and then I'll start laughing at a joke. And they're like, "Oh, hey, you do speak Spanish." And I'm like, "Nah, I don't speak it, but I know some stuff." So
I prefer not to speak it. What does your coffee mug say right there?
Oh, I'm a ray of fucking sunshine.
Yes, you are, my friend. So am I.
Yeah, my girl got me that.
Apparently, you weren't in a good mood when she gave it to you. You talk about when I was rereading your bio. I mean, I read it a few times.
Yep.
Your influence in hip hop was mostly West Coast because you were obviously Arizona West Coast. You were influenced by
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
What did you love? What made you like? What made you love it?
Um, you're talking about like the West Coast scene?
West Coast hip hop. Let's talk West Coast first.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, just in the neighborhood, man, all the older kids were listening to it. I was probably like 5 years old. You know, I was born in '83.
5.
Yeah, so I was allowed to hang out in the park across the street. We lived in a bad neighborhood, but you know, when you're a little kid, it was a different time back then in the '80s. So you know, I seen a lot of shit go down in that park, but I lived across the street, so as long as I'm home by dark, you know, it's whatever. And that's where I was introduced to it, honestly. Like the kids out there, the older kids playing ball. And then I ended up getting myself a Walkman and listening to like Power 92. That was like their little hip hop station in Phoenix. And that's really how it all started.
What were some of the artists that like you were like, yo,
Back then, man, it was like I remember like I feel like one of the first songs I used to listen to was like Young MC. Like It Takes
yeah,
Two, like as far back as I can remember, man, like 4 or 5, like that song is vivid in my head, like as a little kid running around in the park. And
yeah.
I mean, I remember NWA playing, and then you know with the Snoop Dogg and all that death row shit, that just blew up, and I mean everybody was just listening to that out there. So
Yeah. When did you make the transition to Worcester? You moved to Worcester, Massachusetts. When did you make
um,
that transition?
I was about to be 19, so I pretty much spent 19 years in Arizona, and then came out this way.
What made you come out here?
Honestly, man, it was just to get away. I was in a lot of trouble. It was supposed to
Mm.
be a 3 to 6 month type of thing. I was like, you know, I'll be back, and it just never happened.
Did you get incarcerated when you were in Arizona or when you came out here?
Yeah, I've done I used to get locked up out there as juvie a lot. And then while I was 18, I was arrested twice. But I always like got my bail. I never had to go like do time, and that's kind of why I took off for a while because I know I had to go do like a little bit of jail time for some things, and then me and a couple guys I was running with had like a unit looking for us, a police unit and stuff. So everybody kind of dispersed, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go out here. My mother was living out here for a little while already, so I figured I would come out here and check it out for a little bit and just go
Yeah.
back, you know.
So it's safe to say that you got caught up in that whole Arizona scene,
Yeah,
caught
you
up in
know,
the
and I
streets.
just I wanted to, you know, kind of let it cool off. Like I was like, let me get out of here for a little bit before I actually do have to, you know, go do some time or whatever.
Right. So basically, you try to take a vacation out on the East Coast, but ended up becoming a permanent residence.
Ended up staying.
So you moved out. You moved right directly to Worcester or outside of Worcester,
No,
Massachusetts.
right into Worcester, like right up on Belmont Street, like right in this neighborhood. There's like it's on a hill, it's Belmont Hill.
Yeah.
And yeah, pretty much those were like my little original stomping grounds in Worcester, like starting at 18.
What was it like? What was the big difference you noticed between like Arizona and Worcester? I'm just
I,
curious what that perspective is.
yeah, well, so I rolled in on the Greyhound, which is a 3.5 day ride. And
Ooh,
I remember coming off of 290 right there. The first thing I said is I pointed at some three deckers, and I was just like, "Whoa, those are some big ass houses." And somebody was laughing and was like, "Those are 3 apartments." And I was like, "What?" And I'm like looking at them, and I'm like, "Oh, that's not a house." They're like, "No, those are apartments." And I couldn't get my head over. I couldn't wrap my mind around it because I'm like, dude, it just looks like a big ass house. Like, I never
yeah,
seen
yeah,
nothing like that in my life out in Arizona.
yeah. Because out there, it's like everybody's got a house, right? Like small
You
house,
either got a
maybe, but
house, you got a house, or you have you know, like townhouses where there's
yeah,
two to one, and or like apartment complexes was like
right.
stucco. So I never seen like a 3 decker with siding. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So it was pretty crazy.
That was the big thing. What
Yeah,
the other
and
thing you
then
mentioned? It. Go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say the people. As soon as I got off the bus, man, you can already tell you're in a whole nother world. Like the way they're talking, just the way everyone was. Even the Spanish people that were here way different than the Spanish where I'm from. So that's all within the first hour. You're just experiencing all this. Everything's different.
Right. Now you also mentioned that this is when you become more familiar with East Coast hip hop, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I did listen to some in Arizona. See, so out there, we don't really listen to too much East Coast because we're way out there. It's more West Coast and down south, like Texas type of stuff. And yeah, I listened to like I knew this group of kids. They used to listen to a lot of East Coast music, and it's funny because we used to joke around. I used to call them like East Coast wannabes and stuff, and like just messing around. They used to roll their pant leg up, and like I would just I'd clown and. But I hear their music, and Gangstar always stuck out to me, and the Big Pun and Big L. So in Arizona, at like age 15, I was started listening to the Gangstar, Big Pun, Big L. I thought Wu Tang was cool, so I knew a little bit about East Coast before I came out. But it's when I came out here, I actually like dived in and started listening to all the underground, Immortal Technique, Vinny Paz, Ill Bill, all that stuff. I kind of found that and just really ate it up. Next thing you know, I'm at the shop, buying CDs, whatever underground rap CD I could buy.
Yeah, definitely. When did you decide you're gonna start rapping?
I mean, I used to just rap ever since a teenager, like just around friends. Like a few other ones would do it, throw a beat on, and it was always just kind of messing around, really. And then I kept doing it as life went on, and by the time I'm in my early 20s, a bunch of people are telling me like, "Oh, you should do it. Like, you should really like try to cut a song or like do something." And I still at first was just kind of like, "Yeah, whatever." And then I don't even know what happened. I think I did some time, and I just ended up coming out and like, let me hit a studio, and just kind of never looked back. That was like 10 years ago, and I never really looked back.
What's that mentality like of like hustling and getting locked up and coming back out? I mean, what is your mind at that point? Like, what do you, is it just about, explain that one to me? Cause it's like it's just multiple incidents you're getting nailed with.
Yeah.
Why keep hustling at that
Um.
point?
Well. Well. When I came to Mass, man, it was like, to be honest, I was broke as shit, man. I didn't have no money. I mean, me and my boys out in Arizona, we were doing stick ups and breaking into houses and just doing all kinds of crazy shit. And so you come out here, and to be honest, like I wasn't in that mentality no more because I'm in an unfamiliar territory that I don't know, and I'm around a bunch of people I don't know. So like I don't know where I can go, what I can do, who I can fuck with. So I got a little job, you know what I mean, for a while, but like when you're hungry, you need to get shit done, man. I'm like, I start meeting the right people, and have people put you on and up and running, and same thing, never look back.
Do you not fear consequences at that point? Like, where's your
Back
mind
then,
at with consequences?
no, I didn't care. Like it was whatever.
So like the mentality is like, fuck it, I get locked up, I get locked up.
Exactly, like it is what it is. Like I was always too confident in myself that I'm too smart, and like I can get away with the shit, and fly under the radar. So and I pretty much have like I'm not in the game anymore, so that's why I could talk about it. But
Right.
like yeah, I pretty much did do it. Flew under the radar and kept my nose clean, and you know, fortunate really. But it's not nothing I would like suggest to anybody or go tell some kid. Like I have kids now, I wouldn't want them hustling. So.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be the downside of it, right? Like that.
Well, that's when I started to care. Like now I have my older son. He's 16 now, going on 17 next month, and when he was a little, I still kind of didn't care. But by the time I got out of jail and whatever, like he's like 6, 7 years old, and I'm kind of like, yeah, I need to. That's when I really started taking the barbering serious. I'm like, I need to kind of do something else to get my life
Yeah.
together.
Definitely
So,
want to talk about the barbering. But I want to still focus on the music this time
yeah, no
period.
problem.
You know, so many people just get caught in this trap, right? That we're talking about. There's a reason
Oh
why
yeah.
I'm just touching on this because you're someone I know and we could
Yep.
talk about it. And you've moved on from that life. And I got caught up in it, not as long as you, but I got caught up in it too. And it's just like when you're in it. I mean, when you're in it, it's just you can't really see any way out sometimes. You know what I mean? Like it's just like
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
It's
it's
just
kind of
like
once you're in it, you're in it. Yeah, like what am I gonna do?
you always think like I'm gonna put some money away. I'm gonna get out this
You know, you
time.
never do. I don't.
You
No
never
matter how
do.
much no matter how much you make, I don't care. Like even all my guys I know, like nobody ever like actually makes a 401k and starts making a retirement plan and like.
And and the stress that comes with it too. A lot of people think it's just showboating and partying, but you're always in a state of paranoia. At
Yeah,
least I
definitely,
was.
man. Oh yeah, I mean you have to be really. I mean, if you're gonna stay on your toes, you got to be
Right.
paranoid. You got to be looking out. Like this, the guys that aren't like that are the ones that get caught slacking. So
And to me, that's the biggest peace of mind. Obviously, it's the consequences. Obviously, like I came close, but and luckily got out of it. But the paranoia, not having that, not having to look over my shoulder, not have to worry about this, worry about that, someone getting robbed, whatever.
yeah,
That's that
yeah,
shit. I took
that's
for that. I took
nice.
that. I didn't. I took that for granted.
Oh yeah, I mean, after a while, it's almost like you forget that there is another way to live. Like you forget that you don't got to do that after so long. Which I
Yeah.
recently experienced that. The last couple of years, man, is I've pretty much been out the game. I mean, and even in the beginning of my rap, man, that's all that's how I was paying for everything, man. All the videos, the studio time. Like I wasn't working at Burger King. so,
Yeah.
so
one of the tougher things I had trouble with was the identity crisis after I left the game.
yeah.
I was like, who am I now? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what do I do? Like, I got jobs, but it was like, I ended up getting these jobs working like 6 days a week just to get the hustle or withdrawals out of me, dude. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, it was
Yeah.
like,
I was fortunate because the barbering goes. I just fed, like I'm just
right.
hustling at the shop all day cutting hair. So it's the transition it's a lot easier like that because when I was ready to be done, I was done, and I make a lot of money barbering. That's what made it
Yeah.
easy. I mean, if I didn't become a successful barber, who knows where I'd be right now, or if I'd still be out there, or what. I don't even know, to be honest. So in a way,
Yeah.
barbering kind of saved my life and got me out of the game. So.
It's an excellent trade, especially nowadays. It's becoming more, of a thing. You see in barbershops pop up all over the place. So
Yeah,
it's like,
I mean, even the old school haircuts are coming back, and and like I feel like guys, the last few years, I noticed people really kind of want to take care of themselves, and they have the big beards and the different do's, and people are getting into it. They a lot more than when I started. So
right, right. Um, so we'll go back to the rapping, a little
yeah,
sidetracked here, but when we go back to the rapping, once you started taking it serious, you started doing some pretty big shows. I got here opening up for Onyx, Snow Goons, Army of the
yep,
Pharaohs, Keith Murray, Ill Bill, Slain, and a bunch more. I mean, I know you did a bunch
yeah.
of. I think you must have been on some of those Tech Nine shows with
Yeah, oh,
Problematic,
I
right?
do all yeah with Matt. I do all those with the ICP and the Tech Nine, and
Yeah.
those are all huge.
What was some of your like highlight shows, like performances? You think like some show that's really stands out to you is like, yo, that was
I mean,
crazy.
my most favorite one that stands out to me, like the best one to me, I went out west to California with Block McLeod, and
Yep.
I went out there with him because he was doing the 20th Psycho Realm anniversary show.
Oh, dope.
He was invited to that with Capital I Man from the Mexicans, so they were pushing a group that they were making, Gods of Chaos, and Block took me out, and I got to hit the stage with them and do a couple songs. So I mean, in Psycho Realm, I grew up on that, that's legendary Mexican hip hop right there. And yeah, to me it was just like a dream come true. Like if you told me 20 years ago when I first like, hey, you're gonna be performing at their 20th anniversary, I would have laughed at you and been like, yeah, okay, buddy. So but that to me, yeah, it's amazing that I got to do that.
Funny you bring up Psycho Realm. I knew about Psycho Realm as a Cypress Hill affiliate. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Basically, I didn't really listen to them too heavily. They kind of Sick Jack and popped up with La Coca Nostra, and I kind of got revisited him as a solo artist, and I went back and listened to Psycho Realm, and
Yep.
I've actually done a Psycho Realm show in Boston.
Okay.
Um, I don't. Well, I don't think I was working with you at the time. Otherwise, you probably would have been
Nah, I
on
mean
it.
I would have been there anyways as a fan. Shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We did Psycho Realm but talk to me about the significance of them because I'd like to know more of your perspective of why Psycho, because you go out of LA and Realm is huge.
Dude,
But you
yeah, they're everywhere. They're,
come out in the Northeast, it's like a couple hundred people. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
the
I mean,
difference,
I feel like, I mean, to me, like I feel like what I mean, there's not a lot of Mexicans up here like that.
right?
And then even the ones that are, you know, just because they're Mexican doesn't mean they're necessarily from like the Southwest of the United States. And you know, that whole that Cali vibe, it runs through you know, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. Like to me, when you go through all those states, it's kind of the same vibe. And you know, even all the Mexicans down there kind of look like the same ones from Cali are kind of like the ones from New Mexico, Arizona. It's all the same kind of to me. And you don't see that up here. So I almost feel like that's why there's just nobody that like nobody just knows have been put on to them. Like I listen to them down in the barbershop and people be like, who's this? Like they have no clue, you know? So I just think there's not enough people out here rocking them that, you know, they're not really getting the
It's
notice
just
that
not
they
enough.
deserve.
It's just not enough Mexicans in New England.
That's what I feel, man, because out there, like when they're hot and they're taking like there's all Mexicans. So even you go to Arizona, like everybody knows Psycho Realm and is a fan. Like I've never heard anybody that's Mexican and say they don't like Psycho Realm. Like
Well, that's
so
because it's like what else? What other Mexican rap group? What was the other one? Oh man, they had that one hit in the '90s. Trace,
I'm
you
not.
know
I
what
don't
I'm
know.
talking.
I used to listen to like Night
Oh, come
Owl,
on.
like like there's a couple good ones and then there's a lot of shitty ones. So
I'm trying to figure out. There was this one I believe that came out in like the late '90s. They had one big hit. They were actually the album wasn't bad, but they were kind of foreseed as a one-hit wonder. I wonder if I can find it real quick. Oh man, they were. What was the name of that group?
you're not talking about like lighter shade of brown or anything, are you?
No, 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 no. It was Delinquent Habits. Were they
Oh, Delinquent
Mexican?
Habits. Oh yeah, yeah. Delinquent Habits is dope, man. A lot
Yeah,
of
they
Mexicans
were.
bump them. Yeah. They came
It,
out with a couple albums and yeah, you're right. I don't know. They just kind of I don't know what happened to them.
was one. It was like they came out with that big hit. What was the name of the song?
Yeah, the Tres
Return of the
Delinquentes.
Trace. Was it Trace Delinquentes?
Yep, yep.
And but it came out like later '90s when it was shifting. You know, the sound was going more East Coast and West.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think they kind of got swept under the rug a
They,
little
they
bit, but
came out a couple years too late.
yeah, yeah, well, yeah. I mean, still was a massive hit regardless, but I don't think it
Yeah.
was revered
The
as.
I actually have like both of their first albums. Like the albums are fire. If you like front to
I
back, you can
know
let those run. Yeah.
it's so funny because I was hanging with somebody once and they were like, "Oh, I'm like, what are you listening to?" They're like, "Delinquent Habits." I was like, "What is it?" You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I was like, one hit wonder. Like, who do you listen to the whole album? Like, you know what I mean? And she's like, "No,
Yeah.
you really got to listen. Really got to listen to this." And I was like,
Yeah.
"All right." She played it and it was like, "Wow, I put I'm
Yeah,
an
those
asshole."
albums are like banger after banger. Like I play them at the shop sometimes, and everyone else agrees too. Like, wow, this
That's
guy's
funky.
good.
It was
And it's
mad
like, bro,
funky.
this shit, this shit's 20 years old, 25 years old. You know, like,
Funk Dubious, loved
yep,
Funk Dubious.
yeah,
Obviously,
definitely,
Cypress Hill, South of
yep.
Pain, Funk Dubious. First two albums are incredible. Their second album is one of the better sophomore albums. Sophomore follow ups. I think it was. What's the name of that one?
Yeah, I'm not even sure. I've done a few of their beats
Brothers
too on my
Doobie.
mixtapes. Brothers Doobie.
Yeah, Funk Dubious, Brothers Doobie is classic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's a great
I've
sophomore
used
album because
I've used a few of their beats on like my mixtape stuff. So yeah, like yeah, I'm definitely a fan.
yeah. Um, so you ended up getting a deal with Disturbia Music Group. Was that a label or just a distribution deal?
I mean, it was just we just did an album. We did one album, Arichussettes for President, and
Yep.
Block put it out with through Disturbia and like digital distributed it for me digitally. So yeah, I was up under him for that album, and then yeah, that was cool. That's how me and him became real cool, and we became close. We've done a lot of songs. So
You
that
guys did an album together.
Yeah, we did. We did the whole album together, the Cloud and the Rain. So that was
Talk to me about your relation. Talk to me about your relationship with Block McLeod and his, because his impact on the music scene. He's done some big things. So I'm curious
yeah,
your
definitely.
relationship.
I mean, I met him doing shows around the same time I met Problematic. He was doing these shows out in Worcester at Electric Haze. They were Disturbia Tuesdays. That's the name of them. And that's how I met Block, man. And we became cool and started hanging out. And just like we just hit it off, and we was always mad cool. And I never like pressed it. Like a lot of people get around him and they want to press him about doing music and doing this or want a favor. And like I'm one of the people that like, I don't really give a fuck who you are. Like, you know what I mean? Like musically. Like we hanging out anyways as boys. So I think he kind of like well he did. He's told me that's what he respected about me, you know what I mean? Like I'm not on no like there's no hidden agenda to what I want, you know what I mean? Like if I need something off you or want something, I'll let you know.
Right.
Otherwise if I'm being friendly to you or I'm cool with you, it's genuine, because I like you and we're cool. And that's we just kind of got closer and closer and hung out more and more and started doing music together. So that's kind of how that went.
It's dope. That seems to be one of your bigger albums, the one with you and Block.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, yeah, because his name's on it. So I mean, Block is the shit, man. Like, for me, it's dope to have him. Like, outside of the album, he's done a ton of hooks for me. He's
Yeah.
produced songs for me and done a hook. And I mean, to me, I'm just blessed. Like, it's fortunate that I can have Block McLeod just give me hooks. You know what I mean? It's pretty dope. Not everybody gets to say that. So.
I know. We just did one. He just did one for me. We've been talking about doing something for a
Yeah,
while.
yeah, I seen it. That's what's up. Like
Yeah.
he's a beast, man. He's does his thing. He's put in his
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah. So for those that don't know, Block McLeod is a rapper and a singer,
yep.
and he does both very well. So, and he's done, huge features on Army of the Pharaohs, Finny Paz.
Yeah, like most of Vinny's songs with the
Who
hooks,
else?
it's
Who
usually
else has he
Block.
worked for? Who else has he worked for?
Oh, I mean, he's done shit with Sean P. I mean, he's done shit with everybody, man. Like I be listening to old songs and I'm like, is that Block on there? Like,
Yeah.
so he done shit that I don't even know about sometimes. It's
Yeah.
it's cool.
Well, you and Block and formed Suicide Squad, was a bigger cohesive, more
Um,
bigger unit, right?
Actually, well, Suicide Squad was already formed, like in New
Oh,
York.
okay.
Him and
Okay.
his lady formed it. So basically, when they came to Worcester, they did like a revamp. Like they changed it up and built like a new Suicide. The one before was Suicide Squad Lost Souls. They were calling themselves, and then they just dropped that, and we're just going by Suicide Squad. And that's when he put like that whole team together. And then
Now,
at
who's on
some
the
point,
team? Who's on the team?
well, I mean, right now it's me, Problematic, Live Mike, Elijah Divine, Mad Max, and Block. So we got it down to 6. It started as like 15 dudes, man. Like dudes were in, they were out, and then I kicked a couple people out myself. Because at one point he kind of gave me the reins and was like, you're gonna run the crew. And so like 3 people immediately. I was like, yeah, you're done, and you're done. And they tried to call him, to cry about it or whatever, but he was just like, bro, like it's whatever he says, that's what it is. So, and I think he was just tired of the headache. And then once we narrowed it down, I mean, we have an album right now. It's pretty much done. Just needs to be mixed. So, and it's a good album, man. I can't front. It's a good piece of work. So I'm excited for it. We spent like 3 years working on it, so it's not like something we just whipped up.
Dope. That's you. I look forward to hearing that. I remember the show we did with, I think it was Mad Child, and else was on that
I
show?
think it was Slain at that one too.
No, it was Mad
No.
Child and it was Stevie Stone, I think.
Oh, what's that? It was in the back, right? And
It was in
Sonia.
Sonia,
There we go. Yep.
and you guys tore it down.
Yeah, we've actually performed a lot together, man. And as a unit, yeah, we bring a lot onto the stage, man. And we're all different, and everybody's hype in their own way. And it works. Like when we get together, it works. We did the Method Man and Redman show last year at the Palladium, and I mean, I was like proud of the crew because I was like, bro, everybody fucking brought, like, it's like everybody knew, like, this is like, you better bring that shit 120% tonight. So, and
Yeah, I
everybody
mean,
was on
you're in
point.
your own hometown doing red and
That
meth, man.
yeah, and there wasn't there was only a couple people performing, so it was just like, yeah, man, we got to go out there and let them know like this is our fucking town. So that's what we went out and
Nice.
did.
From here, you signed another deal with it was an international deal with Alex Fat. Is that what it
Yeah,
is?
yeah. So I ended up after that album with Block. I started messing with Alex Fat, and I went ahead and joined War Records, and that's for digital distribution, and there it gets distributed through Empire. So I went ahead and decided to get under that umbrella with Alex. He offered. He said he'd been watching me for a few years. He liked my grind, and he was doing a lot of Spanish guys, so he wanted to try a couple English hip hop artists, and so, but yeah, I was one of them, and to this day, I'm the only one that he still has signed. He kind of dropped everyone else. So
Who is Alex Fat? Because I've seen the name pop up a few times,
yeah,
but he's not really in my world, so I don't really know much about him. And it's
yeah,
not that it's not like my world is end all be all. I just don't really know much about it. And I've
yeah.
seen
Well,
his
I
name a
mean,
bunch of times.
and he's Spanish. Like all his music's in Spanish too. So if you're not
Right,
like in the Spanish scene, you might like it's the
right.
same. Everybody like knows who he is, but they never like they don't know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, he's big. He's from Puerto Rico, man, and he came out to Worcester. He was like living out in the valley, doing his dirt out there with like that gang around there, and he just started doing music, and it got bigger and bigger. And then he got his deals. He was doing digital distribution before like most other dudes even knew about it. Like when it was brand new, he had his deal. So he's
So
been on the
he's a
digital.
rapper too. He's a
Yeah,
rapper and
he's a
businessman.
rapper. Yeah, he's a rapper and owns the label. Yeah, he does a lot, man. He owns a big studio in Hartford, Wildlife Studios. He does videos. He shot some of my videos, and yeah, he's just a businessman, bro. He's just about his money, and he knows a lot in the game. Like he schooled me. He shared so much knowledge with me, man. Like, and he's real humble, and like he travels the world. He's big in like Spanish countries. He's really big. So, but if you met him and sat with him, he's mad humble. You would never even think that this dude's like gets treated like a legend in certain countries he goes to.
He says he shared mad info to you. You got any jewels you can share that he gave you?
I mean, basically, man, he's the one that instilled like the way I've been going for the last few years with the trying to get a single out every month or a video every month, every other month type of. He's the one that kind of showed me to do that. Just keep hitting them, hitting them, hitting them. Don't stop. Keep going, and you work hard for it. You know what I mean? And just basically listen, man. Like he like to be quiet and listen, bro. You know what I mean? Like not everybody knows everything. Sometimes you got to sit back and take information in. Criticism, whatever, and just keep working hard and do your own thing. Like he's really instilled that into me with the music. I started working harder after I got with him. So with War
You
Records.
talk about working harder. Ever since I've known you, you've been
Yeah.
relentless.
Yeah.
And is that you think why he wants you around is because you're working harder than everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, he said, a lot of other guys, he said they fuck around, man. They're not serious. So, a lot of people like to blow opportunities. I'm the kind of person, man. Like I take every opportunity, and I mean, I basically squeeze the shit out of it until there's nothing left in it. So, and
Where'd you learn that? Where'd you learn how to do that?
I mean, I don't know, man. I think that's just me, growing. Like, my whole life, I've been that way, man. Like any little opportunity I could find, I'm gonna squeeze that shit and choke it out. And I took that mentality into the hip hop. I mean, I've gone on a lot of shows just off pure opportunity because I was at another show, just showing up, showing face, and then people talk to me, and then oh, you want to do this, and then that opportunity turns to another opportunity, and I mean, just a lot of the shit a lot of the bigger shows I've done, man, was just me following up with an opportunity. and that sometimes I feel like people are, I don't know if they're scared to take it or they're just not serious about it or what, but
Well, I think like another thing about you, man, is you are a pretty humble guy. You know, you do listen. I mean, but around me, I can say around me and what I've seen you do, you've been
yeah,
pretty humble. You listen, you work hard, you take suggestions, and like you follow through.
yep,
You
yeah.
know, like
I mean, I feel like
this,
that's important, man. Like, I don't
this is
know
very
everything.
important. This is what it is.
Yeah, so I mean, like I know I don't know everything, and
That's
I
another
mean, when
thing. You know, you can admit that you don't know everything.
yeah, like especially when it comes into the music, I don't know shit. I still don't know shit, man. I'm still trying to
Neither
figure
do
it out.
I.
So
Yeah, me
like,
too.
I'm just yeah, like so I just if someone got something to say to me and I know they're successful or they got some knowledge, I feel like the least you can do is give them a minute or two and listen and hear them out. So
Yeah, doesn't hurt.
exactly,
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I've seen you apply this mentality and you've done well with it.
yeah, appreciate it, man.
It's important. Other people can learn from that. When did you move to New Hampshire?
Okay, so that was the last 5 years, maybe 5 to 6 years.
Okay.
I actually became a resident and moved in up here into the woods.
Hence
So
the shirt, Boys in
yeah,
the
man,
Woods. This
I
is
appreciate
Arichussettes'
that.
shirt.
Dude,
I
them
loved it.
things, yeah, we've sold so many, it's crazy.
Thought obviously I'm from New Hampshire. That's why I bought this, and I love Boys in the
Yeah,
Hood as a movie. So I
but
was like, I
we got
need, I
the
need this fucking, I need
yeah,
this shirt.
dude, we got the Vermont ones, and then we got Boys in the Hood, but it got the Massachusetts. So we got like
Nice.
a line of them. Like I'll have them at the at all the shows I do now. I'm gonna start having them. So you'll see them out
Yeah.
there. But the people in Keene, New Hampshire, they're already eating them up. Like my girl's
Yeah.
been at the grocery store and been like, "Hey, I seen a Boys in the Woods shirt." So it's funny.
Were you always in Keene when you moved to New Hampshire?
Well, I'm up like 20 minutes from here in up in like Gilsum. But it's like a
Gilson.
little town. It's like a little town in the woods. There's like Gilsum, Marlow, and like
There's a lot of those in
Allsted.
New Hampshire. There's a lot of
Yeah,
little
they're
towns
just
in the
so
woods.
like there's nothing in my town. I just like I come to Keene for everything, for gas, groceries. I got my business here now, so
Yeah.
it's they call it a city, but I mean I consider it a town. But it's got everything you need. Like it got all the plazas and all the major businesses. It has them.
Keene,
So
Keene or Gilsum?
Keene, yeah,
Yeah.
Gilsum, there's nothing. There's not even a store.
Yeah, I grew up in a town like that. There was one convenience store and it
Yeah,
burned down halfway through me living there, and they didn't
yeah.
replace it for a long time. We talk about Keene because I obviously have ties to Keene. All my friends from
Yep.
high school, a lot, not all of them, but a lot of them went to Keene, New Hampshire for Keene State.
Queen State.
Uh,
Yep.
for school, I used to go up there and visit. I actually used to DJ. I had friends up there I used to DJ for at the parties. I
Okay.
was a DJ. I used to play DJ Keene State parties all the time
Oh, okay.
back in like 99
Oh,
when
damn. All right.
when Juvenile Back That Ass Up was the number one hit.
Yeah, I remember those days.
So I'm familiar with Keene, and there was always a rivalry between the college students and the townies. Are you involved in that? Do you get
No, I
sucked
mean
into that?
I'm old. I'm older now, man. Like, but
You're
I mean,
technically a townie.
yeah, now I am. Yeah, it's funny, but yeah, I mean, now these kids like they're like I don't know, they seem younger to me, younger minded and everything. Like some of these college kids that come in the barber shop, I feel like they're high schoolers, man. Like I'm like, oh, you're in college, like so. But
Yeah,
I don't really get into that crowd, man. I don't mess with them. I feel like I'm too old for them, like to on a
yeah,
hangout level. I have a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
them that are listening to my music though, because
That's good.
they'll come in and they'll be like, hey, I checked out some of your songs and videos, man. I really like what you're doing. So that's cool, like yeah, I'm appealing to them, like they like the music, so
Yeah.
that's good.
So you opened up a barbershop in Keene, New
Right in
Hampshire.
Keene, it's in a Hannaford Plaza. It's like the West Street Shopping Plaza. So, I mean, I'm next door to a
Good
Verizon
location.
for Christ's sakes.
No, hold on. Are you next to a Hannaford's and a Verizon?
A Verizon, a Hobby Lobby is in the dude, Bull Moose is in the plaza, and they sell
Oh,
my
they got Bull
albums.
Moose. They got Bull
Yeah,
Moose up there.
and they sell my albums, so it's
Shout
cool.
out Bull Moose for still being in
Yep.
business.
They got 11 locations. I
Yeah,
know because they sell my albums. So,
yeah,
yeah,
they were big.
they have 2 or 3 in New Hampshire and like 8 in Maine.
Yeah, so there was one near me, in southern New Hampshire, in Salem, New Hampshire.
Okay.
And Bull Moose. I used to sell my mixtapes out there. It was,
Yep. Is
you
there
could get
still one
mixed.
there?
I think there is. I don't. I think they're selling used CDs and used DVDs, and it's like a used. It's probably no different than the one next to you, right? It's like
Yeah, the one
used.
next to. I mean, they got new stuff too, but you can also buy the used stuff. Bro, they're even selling like mixers and speakers and like, yeah, they sell all kinds of radio equipment and everything. I'm like, damn, this is crazy. Like, so
Shut
it's a
up. But we
cool
used to.
store.
My boys used to do in stores in there,
Yeah,
performances.
it's a cool store. I go in there from time to time, look around. I buy records in there. Like I have a small record collection. I'm not a huge record collector, but from time to time I'll buy some. So that's where I
That's
get
dope.
them if I go.
Have you ever pressed anything up to vinyl yet?
I haven't. Yeah, I've never done the vinyl thing. I've just always done CD.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking one day I will, like so I'm thinking like a collaboration of all like my best favorite songs of mine and maybe doing something like that. Because
Right.
I've been asked before, like at shows. So, I know there's people out there that, like to collect and stuff. So I'd like to do it someday for them.
So back to the barbershop. Great location. How's it going?
It's actually going really good, man. I have a partner, his name is Hector.
What's the name of the
He
shop? First off, what's the name of the
the,
barbershop?
the shop is called Urban Styles.
What's it
And
like in there?
it's I mean, it's big. We have a huge waiting room. We're ready to have 6 barbers. There's only 2 of us right now. And then Problematic comes out from time to time and helps us out. And then so he's like part-time. And then so that's the left half, and then the right half of the store is all clothing. I'm making t-shirts now. As you know, we sell shoes, hats, and yeah, we've been killing it with the merch, man. That's a whole nother revenue that we didn't really expect. And it just popped off, man, and we're just running with it.
What kind of merch are you selling in there? Just hats and t-shirts?
Yeah, I
CDs?
mean, it
You got
started
it.
because
Are you in a stock room right now?
yeah, I'm in the back room. Like
Can you
I'm where
show
I
us any? Can you show us some of the
well
merch?
yeah. I mean, yeah, this is just like our back room, man. It's our
Oh,
little like
nice.
sink. I mean, we have a washer dryer, and then this is where I work, man. I press up all my merch right here.
I love
So
it.
it's a little messy right now because I'm working this week back here. I'm like pressing up a bunch of shit. So
Are you selling most of your merch out of the store?
yeah, so it's crazy how it happened, man. We had extra space. We always plan on selling hats and stuff because the barbershop we came from did it and it was successful. I'm like, we're gonna sell hats and beanies, and so I put the Arichussettes merch up because I have it for I go to shows. So I kind of decorated it up, and I mean, we opened the doors, and just that first 2 weeks, people were just grabbing the Arichussettes tees, and like a lot more. Like I mean, every day we're selling 3, 4, 5 tees, and I'm like, damn, like I'm onto something here. And everybody's just like, there's nothing to buy out here. There's no stores with nothing cool, so they're just buying it off my logo with the A, with the guns and the anarchy, like because they didn't really even know it's a rap thing. Yeah, so that right there, that is what they're buying,
Didn't even know it was a rap thing. I just want
and
the anarchy and the
and I don't
guns.
even say it. Like I'll just say it's a brand. Like when they ask about it, I'm like, oh, that's my brand. I don't tell them, oh, go on YouTube and look me up. Like
You
I
should.
just let them do that on their own. So if they're young, I will. But I mean, dude, I got like old guys buying them shirts and shit. So like I don't say nothing. I'm just like, yeah, it's my brand. If they find out, cool. Like go watch the video. I mean, they might not want to come here no more, but
So
so
it's just people buy. So it's just New Hampshire people buying it because they like
they're
the
just
guns and
buying the
anarchy
shit that
logo.
they thought it was cool. And so me and Hector, my partner, were just like, you know what? I think we're onto something here. And we just I started playing around because I have all the stuff to make clothes. I started making different things. Came up with the Boys in the Woods, and I have MILF Hunter shirts, the MILF Hunter line,
Yes,
and
I saw that.
dude,
I saw that.
I sell tons of them though. And then I have panties. I sell thongs for women that with the A on them. Listen, man, everybody told me I was crazy. I had people
I
hit
went
me
to.
up. I had people hit me up and tell me I'm doing too much, but I made 10 packs of panties and they all sold in like 2 weeks. Like,
Arichussettes panties are the hottest items in Keene, New
yeah,
Hampshire. Right
yeah, it's hilarious.
that
Like,
is the
I can't even
funniest
believe
thing.
it.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just funny, man. I didn't. I'm like, let me just try something, and yeah, it worked.
Oh, props to your
So
experiment going well and
thank
everybody
you, man.
dying it.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You know, all bringing you on here because you got a show coming up this weekend. Is it
Yep.
this weekend? Yep. Yeah, it's this
Yeah,
weekend.
Sunday night,
September 3rd.
third.
You're opening up for Xrated, the
Yeah,
rapper.
X-rated, man. Yeah, it's dope.
It, when when the Shaskin reached out to me to help promote this and whatnot, and I was like, who should we get to open up for this? I was like, you're the
Yeah,
first person that came to my mind, you know what I
yeah,
mean? And then I called up Problematic because I was like, because I try throwing Matt shows too, but I
yep,
was like, this one feels more like Arichussettes, man. And
yep.
he's like, yo, dude, it's funny you say that. Arichussettes is the biggest X-rated fan. And I
Yo,
was like,
yeah,
really?
I listen to X-rated like heavily, so that's why I'm like, what?
Give the listeners the background on an X-rated because the story is kind of crazy.
I mean, yeah, X-rated. I mean, I started listening to him. That's when I was young, man, like 10, 11 years old. And they had this label Black Market. It's like Brother Lynch Hung and Sibo and Mr. Doctor. These are all like Crip gangster rappers, from Sacramento, California. Real hardcore shit. And
Oh yeah.
I was bumping that and then X-rated, he did an album and then he got 25 to life for a murder. And then everyone thought he was gone, and then the motherfucker dropped the album from prison, like on the phone, and that shit hit the streets. It was called The Exorcist, and that's when I ate that shit up. I love that. I had the tape. Like that's how far back.
So you were bumping the album that he recorded in jail on the phone, the payphone.
Yeah, he had an album. I think it was like Psychoactive. That
Yeah.
he was in the street, so I had that tape. And then he went to prison. Everybody knew about it, and then out of nowhere, that other one dropped, The Exorcist, I believe it was called, and he's literally rapping on the phone, like, but you can
It's
tell it.
listenable. It's
Yeah,
listenable.
you can hear it, but you can tell it's on the phone, like. But to me, that shit was raw. Like I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like it was like, remember when Shine did that too? It was the same shit. Like you
I
can
remember Max
understand
B.
it.
I remember Max B doing it a few times too.
See, I didn't even hear those ones, but I mean, like you can understand it, but you could tell it was on the phone. Like, yeah, he didn't spit it in a studio. Like you could hear a little bit of the echo or whatever.
I'll just read what Wikipedia has to say. Is X-rated, aka I can't even pronounce his first name. Anari Brown
Okay.
was sentenced to 31 years in prison on murder charges.
Yep.
He continued to record rap songs in prison until being released on parole 26 years later.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
And the big thing with him was, I think back then they used his lyrics against him in court.
Well, yeah, they were saying he put it in his first album about the murder or whatever. So,
right.
and yeah, so.
And I was with Van Styles the other day, and he says, and I don't know if this is true, but he says that the gun that was on the album cover was the murder weapon.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. Man. These motherfuckers are crazy.
Crazy
You got
isn't
to
even
think
the
he's
friggin'
a young
word.
back then. He's a young gangbanger. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
It just goes to show you, man. Like, I think they're trying to fight. This is a big topic, I think, these days of like people's lyrics being held against them in a court of law.
yeah, they're trying to fight that.
Do you know anything about this?
Well, I seen an interview with this dude. He used to have the song with he was with No Limit. He had the song Murder Murder, shit's
The C
real or
murder?
something like that. Not See Murder. I forget the guy's name, but the song was called like Murder Murder, and I guess they used that in court. But they spliced two different songs together and made one line, and were playing it in court. Like, I just watched this like a month ago too, and they were talking about that, like how like that shouldn't have been, they spliced two songs together, so like that
Yeah,
should have
it's
been thrown
technically
out.
not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that should that's like tampering with evidence.
Exactly. So and then they had an interview with him. The guy's out now. And yeah, they were pretty much just saying how, you know, he was a good dude, and he was just in that rap, you know, that gangster rap, and then they just kind of they got himself caught up. So I know now they're trying to fight that to like stop that shit. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, some dudes are knuckleheads too, man. I mean, there's
Yeah.
plenty of idiots out there that go do a murder and then do put it in their rap. It's like an idiot. So, you know, which is not smart.
Which was always the gripe, right? Like we always like I came up in the 90s, that was the big thing. It's like, you know, J. Rue had that line. I never knew hustle is to confess in stereo. You know,
Yeah.
like, you know, you putting yourself out there like that, if you're really doing it, you could get locked up.
Oh yeah, you gotta be careful, man. Even in the beginning when I first used to rap, man, I'd be like, ah, like, you know, like
Yeah.
nervous and shit. Like so, but yeah. But I was never putting no accounts on down in the studio. You know, oh, I was over here on Tuesday.
Yeah. So rappers beware. You're gonna talk about something if you're
Oh
keeping it
yeah,
too
man.
real,
Yeah, you
if you
might. Yeah, yeah. You could definitely fucking go to jail. You know.
let's just say this again, back to consequences. There's consequences of your action, even on the mic. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean? Like, be careful what you say. Yes, it's free speech, but not everything, you know, doesn't mean it's consequence free. So
Yep.
be careful.
Yep.
Be
Rapper
careful.
beware.
Rapper beware. So what do we got in the pipeline? What do you got coming up? What else we got?
I mean, right now, man, I'm just working on some singles. I got a single ready to go with a new video. I'm just kind of I'm waiting to drop it. I have a video right now doing really good. I'm working with Mike Check Global for marketing, and I did a Biggie remix. You know, the 10 Crack Commandments. So I did 10 cut commandments, and I made a shop here in the video. I made the video here in the shop, and I just basically did the flip, like everything. Each of my 10 commandments are about the shop and like being a barber, and it's my first YouTube video to break 100,000 views. So it's been going well. I have another video ready to go, but I'm kind of like waiting for that one, the steam to die out before I move on with the next single. And then I'm just working on an album. Like in the back of it all, I'm just slowly gathering songs for like a solo album. I haven't put out a solo album just by myself in like 5 6 years or something. So every time I put out an album, it's a collab with somebody else. So I'm gonna try to come out and just do something totally just me with like maybe 2 or 3 features on it, and that's it.
Well, that's dope, man. Well, brother, I won't keep you any longer, man. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, man, I have fun talking, man. Thanks, I appreciate it.
Definitely, man. It's been great working with you and great seeing you hustle, man, and trying to
Appreciate that.
trying to stay on the right path too, brother. We're
Yeah,
all
man.
just trying to
Yeah, no, I'm on the right path, man. I'm here.
good, good. We'll
Like
stay on it, man.
I own a business now, man. So ain't no going back to none of the bullshit.
Yeah, no more going back to that.
Yep.
Well, thank everybody for tuning into the Leedz Edutainment podcast. Check out all their other episodes on YouTube as well as the streaming platforms. And
Word.
thank you, Arichussettes, brother. We'll talk soon.
No problem, man. Shout out Leeds Entertainment, man. Thank you.
Later, bro.
Peace.